South Park. It tends to focus on four boys. It focuses on Cartman, Kyle, Stan, and Kenny. But there are also the girls. They don't usually tend to focus on the girls that much, but there is one girl in particular that stands out of all of them. And that is none other than Wendy Testaburger. If you are familiar with my content, you know I have a lot of high praise for her. I view her as one of my favorite South Park characters, and I thought, why not make a list of episodes that Wendy tends to shine? And that's what I'm going to do. The top 5 best Wendy episodes. Now, for this list, I'm going to be including episodes that featured Wendy in the plot of each episode. And of course, this is my opinion. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get started. Number 5, The Hobbit. The Hobbit is actually a really funny episode, largely because of Kanye West, but let's focus on Wendy. So after Wendy gives Lisa Burger confidence in asking out Butters, she does that, and Butters pretty much roasted her for being fat, and Wendy didn't take it well. Wendy tries to confront Butters, and then Butters tells her that Kim Kardashian is the perfect woman, largely because of pictures of Photoshop. And due to Photoshop being a huge success to making girls look way different than they actually are, Wendy is completely against it. And honestly, I don't blame her. And after being confronted by Kanye West, Wendy throws the towel and finally gives in to Photoshop. And that's how the episode ends. But there was also one funny moment where Wendy was on the news and they wanted to put her in jelly school, which is actually a Dunkin' Donuts. I'm sorry, that was actually good. But still, The Hobbit was actually a really funny episode, and it was also pretty entertaining, largely thanks to Wendy and even Kanye West. Number 4, Weight Gain 4000. And I know this episode is mostly revolving around Cartman's weight gain, which is not really important in this episode, but let's get to Wendy. So after confronting Mr. Garrison for trying to take out Kathy Lee Gifford, Wendy gives us a really valuable lesson. That you can't win all the time, and you can't hold a grudge against someone who wins. Fast forward towards the ending, where Cartman got what he deserved after trying to sabotage Wendy's winning poem. Overall, a really great episode, and I highly recommend it. Number 3, Dances with the Smurfs. Oh yeah, now we get to the good stuff. So after Cartman tried to convince everybody that Wendy killed the Smurfs, don't ask, Wendy decided to do what needs to be done. She went on Cartman's show and beat him at his own game, and it was just absolutely satisfying to watch. This ending was absolutely incredible. Cartman got exactly what he deserved after being really obnoxious throughout the entire episode, and Wendy beat him at his own game. So, at the end of the day, Wendy took the dub. Number 2, Breast Cancer Show Ever. Well, if it isn't another South Park episode where Cartman got put in his place thanks to Wendy Testaburger. But let's back up. So after Cartman was making fun of breast cancer, Wendy challenges Cartman to a fight. And at first, he accepts the challenge, but in reality, he's actually afraid. So Cartman tries everything in his power to try to call off the fight. By bribing her, apologizing, and even eating his own underwear, but none of that works. And then Cartman has the brilliant idea to tell on Wendy's parents. And at first, it looked like Cartman has won. But when it looked like Cartman was about to win, Wendy was called to the principal's office, and Principal Victoria convinced Wendy to go ahead and do what is right and beat the ever living snot out of Cartman. And spoiler alert, she did. And it was awesome. This episode was epic. Cartman got exactly what he deserved, and Wendy put on a clinic in this episode. Now, before we get to number 1, time for some honorable mentions. Deep Learning was a really good episode, but it felt like more of a Stan episode than a Wendy episode. So, by default, it cannot be in the top 5. Clubhouses was a really funny episode, but it really didn't focus on Wendy that often. Tom's Rhinoplasty. This episode is kind of dark, but also pretty funny. And finally, Pajama Day. Good, but incredibly forgettable. But anyways, on to number 1. Okay, you guys obviously know what number 1 is going to be, so I want you to say it with me. The List. This episode was Wendy at her best. But let's go to the beginning. The girls made a list on who is the cutest and the ugliest, and Kyle is last, and he's pretty upset about it, and Stan wants to make things right. So Stan recruits Wendy into trying to convince the girls that the list was actually fake. And after going to Red, Jenny, and Lola, they found the real list and try to go to Kyle. And at the roof, they were face to face with Bebe holding a gun directly at her best friend, all because it turns out that she tampered with the list to try to get Clyde number 1 to try to get free shoes. Yeah, she did all of this just for shoes. And then Wendy manages to fight her own best friend because, well, Bebe is literally betraying her best friend. And then eventually Bebe gets arrested. And fast forward to the ending where Stan once again pukes on Wendy, and that's all she wrote. And after watching this episode, I was convinced to put Wendy as one of my favorite South Park characters because she single-handedly made this episode really fun to watch, and it was extremely action-packed. And I am confident to put the list as the best Wendy episode. And there you have it, my top 5 best Wendy episodes. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe for more awesome content like this. I'm Chase the Star, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.